Say that again, because what you just did, you just transmuted this man.
Okay, explain. I'm lost because you're giving me something. Maybe I didn't understand what I just
Yeah,
delivered.
yeah, yeah. What he just said and how you just transmuted that energy. What you're saying and how you're conveying it, you're like, oh, sit down. I got you. It's different. It's different now. You see my hand?
I can see your hand. I don't think
Okay.
that's what I intended to do.
Miss Pearl moved the goalpost. And I think that people do that. Like they'll take two things and try to conjoin them. Nepotism is about favoritism. You know, regardless of your merit, regardless of your skill.
You're being favored because of a predisposition.
So what I'm saying is that doesn't happen.
I'm sorry, I'm still talking. I'm confused how your voice is walking while I'm still talking. I'm confused.
Dave, you said DEI really stands for didn't earn it. Explain that.
First of all, Black people historically have sat around and championed causes that are against us. Period, point blank. I'm a numbers guy. I'm not an emotional guy. So if we know that 4% of all DEI positions go to Black people, but 60% of the DEI firings go to Black people, that tells you everything you need to know about it. DEI is affirmative action with a couple of little cute little twists on it. All it is a remix of an old song. Then on top of that, if the number one recipient of DEI is white women, why in the world am I going to break my neck over something that's not helping us? Plus, when you get in positions, if you choose to be in the workforce and not an entrepreneur, which most of us are not, what tends to happen is people will look at you and treat you automatically like you are a DEI hire. I remember being in corporate America, people would think that Black folks would come in, oh, you got to be an affirmative action hire. Like, that is the problem. DEI isn't really doing anything. And when you are starting to lower standards based upon whether or not you can meet certain quotas, you get lower quality. That in and of itself is problematic. So yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of DEI.
All right. How you guys feel about what Dave had to say about DUI? DEI?
Not DUI.
DEI.
DEI.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with that. I'm in agreement with that. It did not benefit us specifically.
Is anybody
program.
Okay. Is it anybody that disagrees with what he just said? So y'all in favor?
So for the people who are pro DEI, you're also pro nepotism. Oh, I'm sorry, if you're like anti DEI, you're against DEI. You're pro nepotism. Is anybody like anti DEI? Like, let's get rid of that, but you're pro nepo.
So my issue with DEI isn't its existence, it's who is specifically aimed at helping. And it's not specifically aimed at helping the people that it reports to be the most beneficial for. It really is not targeted at us, to the point they was making earlier. It's affirmative action, right? So the number one recipient of affirmative action, I believe, was white women. Mm-hmm. So it's supposed to be a set aside program or a historical harm redress, but it's not aimed at the people that was historically harmed. So nepotism as an idea, because we're talking about offsetting something that happened through history that was just egregious, right? So when we talk about trying to fix that thing, if nepotism is able to occur within that schism, within that lens, then yeah, I'm for it. And if DEI actually did what it was purported to do for a specific community, then I would have been for it, but it didn't. That was the initial point.
Yeah, I'd have to say I'm against it because I don't understand what it serves. I get the idea of trying to level set what is perceived to be an unfair advantage. But like Dave said, I'm a numbers guy. Some things I believe, if you're just looking at pure numbers, there's certain things that without fail will shift heavily in one's favor based on just pure percentages and numbers.
Say that again, because what you just did, you just transmuted this man.
Okay, explain. I'm lost because you're giving me something. Maybe I didn't understand what I just
Yeah,
delivered.
yeah, yeah. What he just said and how you just transmuted that energy. What you're saying and how you're conveying it, you're like, oh, sit down. I got you. It's different. It's different now. You see my hand?
I can see your hand. I don't think
Okay.
that's what I intended to do. What I was trying to make reference to is the fact that we're talking about our community. I believe we're 14% of the population. So if you're 14% of anything, you're operating on different metrics. Our problem sometimes, in my opinion, is that we try to level set things that in our minds is supposed to be evenly distributed. It'll never work that way. There
Right.
needs to be pillars. There needs to be a hyper focus on what is important: media,
Right.
law, finance, medicine, infrastructure. That doesn't require the whole 14%. It requires strategy. What I see DI to be is almost like a dangling of, we're going to give you trinkets, put a couple of y'all in positions to where you can feel like the agenda of the community is moving forward. You're actually progressing. But when you look at the numbers, you look at the neighborhoods, you look at the reading scores, you look at the lack of intellect as a group, it's non-existent.
But
So
I'm hearing you, and you got the formula.
I'm just explaining again. From the question was, do you support DEI or do you support nepotism? So I was just responding to Miss Pearl.
Amen.
And yeah, and just saying that DEI, in my opinion, is offensive. If we're going to be a competitive people, I believe I should earn whatever position I get. If I'm not the best, hand it to the best. If I am the best, I should get that. And I do understand that there's systems and agendas and so on and so forth, but it's a simultaneous type of approach. At one point, we have to understand, regardless of what some may admit, there is no progress for us without certain groups of people at stages, because you can't deploy an entire group of people at 14%. It doesn't make sense. And I'll land.
True. Are you saying that because maybe I misunderstood a portion of that last part of the statement. Were you saying it as though it's an equal playing field for selective positions, and you would prefer they give the position to somebody else as long as they're equally qualified or better? Could you like refine that so I can understand? Because it kind of sounded like you was saying that we all at an equal playing field and that that it's based off of meritocracy. Do you believe that meritocracy is at play?
No, I think that I believe that we do give too much credence to trying to make things fair. I'll say it that way. So nepotism needs to be enacted. Earning meritocracy also needs to be enacted, but not from our standard of what we consider to be excellent. Should be equally on par with the dominant society. I think that's where we get lost. We don't have a set standard. We're chasing a numeric group that is just in existence larger at the current time. So I think we need to focus on insulation and figure out what works, first of all, on a smaller scale, and then expand from there. Does that make more sense, Marcus? Or is it still a little choppy for you?
Yeah, we could we could move. I kind of zoned
I
out.
just want to say one thing, just for clarification, because I think that Ms. Pearl moved the goalpost, and I think that people do that. Like they'll take two things and try to conjoin them. Nepotism is about favoritism, regardless of your merit, regardless of your skill, and DEI is supposed to be about fairness, and to me, those are two different things. And I think that when it comes to DEI, especially someone that works in corporate and works in that field, that's just made up. It's not real. Like, let me tell you what DEI is, because I think that people don't understand the way that this works. And this comes from someone working when they implemented DEI, and you had to hire these people to come in and teach your company's DEI. Let me tell you what DEI was. DEI was them coming into our companies and them saying, you need to put in a wheelchair ramp. You need to now do a maternity where people can nurse. You need to have a nursing room. You need to have something where people can pray. And, or like if you're Islam, you'll have a room to pray. And you need to have a workout room. Like, they came in and made it to where everybody had an equal share, but it had nothing to do with hiring and firing. That has in 14 years of this job, that has never been, DEI had nothing to do with a person getting hired or fired from a company. That was simply people coming in and like giving these classes and, taking people away from work and saying, let's all be diverse and we're going to include everyone and we're going to celebrate everyone's culture because we work together. It was trying to kind of create like this workplace environment because they have these standards where companies get money because they grade them like this person has the most employee engagement. This company has the most employee satisfaction. They get paid for stuff like that, like all kind of stuff, right? DEI has nothing to do with whether you are getting hired or fired. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who made that up. But if you ask anybody that works in the HR field, it has nothing to do with that. It literally has more to do with us working together in the workplace and us including everybody and everything and making sure that everybody's represented. It had nothing to do. I've never sat in on an interview or talked to any executives and they was like, let's get in DEI hire. Never heard that shit until this, whatever just happened last year. Then they start using those terms. I'm like, I've never heard that. Ask my colleagues. Nobody, that's not what DEI is. And I feel like sometimes we just take things for face value of what they're telling us in the media, but nobody is really saying what it is. Like when you go and you read it and you see it on paper, it has nothing to do with who's hired or who's fired for a company. And companies were literally just doing that not to be sued. Just like with the LGBTQs, they do stuff so that people don't sue them. They be like, this is the new thing. We got to follow these rules. If we don't, this company got sued for doing this and this. And they just come in and they have people that come in and teach you how to be inclusive so that you won't get sued. Has nothing to do with who's hired or who's fired or who's promoted within the company.
Yeah, got you.
So sorry.
No, it's all good. Anybody else want to add anything that haven't spoken? Just want to make sure I'm letting everybody get their
I
time.
do.
Okay, go ahead.
I definitely want to respond. I did move the goalposts. Let me clarify, just in case we're confused or my perspective has been misconstrued in any type of way. So the association that I was making with DEI and nepotism is surrounding the lack of meritocracy, if any, and the questioning of your ability. So if a DEI hire is coming in just based off DEI, you're Black, whatever, we're just putting you in because we want a certain percentage. We don't want to seem like we're racist. We don't want to push back, blah, blah, blah. I'm automatically going to question you because you're in there just because of your race. It's almost like an accommodation, right? You're being favored because of a predisposition.
So what I'm saying is that doesn't happen.
I'm sorry, I'm still talking. I'm confused how your voice is walking while I'm still talking. I'm confused. Nepotism, when you guys are saying, okay, we're going to hire our family members, people we know, these are favoritisms for our family and our friends, I would still question the meritocracy and I would still question your ability. You're getting in because you're friends and family, not because of your merit, not because of what you've applied as far as your skill and your study acquisition. That's what I meant. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, has been around since the Civil Rights Act and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. They're just different letters and words that have somehow been expanded over the course of time. That's what I meant. I meant the questioning around the ability. You would do that for both a DEI and you should be doing it for somebody who is applying nepotism. That is not somebody that has got in off of their merit and their work. That is somebody that has more than likely got in because of a bloodline relation. Similar to what we were saying with the DEI, some of those hires are simply in just because we need our numbers to look a certain type of way. It's not because of their merit. That's what I was saying. So if it was confused or misconstrued on somebody else's end, just want that to be clear. That's exactly what I meant because we do both, the questioning on both sides. That's what I meant. Thank you.